Welcome back, kids. Happy Saturday. Welcome back to a one-time deal, another one-time deal. This is Star Citizen again. I know, I'm sorry. You were expecting some Grand Prix World, weren't you? You were also expecting not to be halfway down my mouth, but again, I've been completely screwed by the delivery company, so the new microphone hasn't come. And it strikes me that Grand Prix World is the video series that suffers most from the bad microphone, so we're going to try and get some multiplayer co-op action going, and we'll be able to see for ourselves how functional this is. There we go. Cooperative Vandal Swarm. I bet you nobody arrives. Let's play on Broken Moon. There's only 2 maps. That's the other thing. I don't know if it's possible for people to join while it's in progress. It didn't let me try and find a game, actually, did it? Public match. No, it just makes me the host. Oh well, we're going to dive in and we'll start shooting bastards, and maybe we get lucky and someone joins us at some point. Otherwise, we will fight until we're dead. See you in a moment.
Aerospace. All systems online. Bogey scanning.
Is that another player?
Warning. Warning.
No, apparently not.
Enter aerospace. All systems online.
Vandal
Bogey
Swarm
scanning.
initiated.
So we are flying the Anvil
Warning.
Gladiator.
There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Or we would be if you could see it. I don't know where the camera's supposed to be here. Oh.
Forward.
Whoa!
Proximity alert. Start.
Well, at least you get a look at it now. It's a torpedo bomber.
Stand by for reinforcement.
Oh, here we go. We've got a human player.
Warning. Systems overheating. Enter aerospace. All systems
Right.
online. Scanning. Bogey.
Let's get going. So we have a human player with us. That's very, very helpful. So we're going to try and help our buddy here. I think that's a human player. I've got no idea.
Proximity alert.
Let's not blow up again. It's actually quite challenging navigating this way. I've got some hits on him, at least.
Starboard. Proximity alert.
And there's one of our buddies. I'm such a terrible shot.
0 hostile contacts remaining.
Okay, so we've only got 1 life left. We've lost a life due to
There are multiple hostiles
my
inbound.
idiocy and a non-functional camera. The camera is still very, very janky. What you'll see in the bottom left is an indication, or it could be the bottom right as well actually. It's an indication of how much power we're using, and that can indicate how detectable you are. Okay, Kocha's got that one, so we will... Now I will say it's actually quite enjoyable. Let me just get that off the ground first. I am enjoying playing Vandal Swarm, but it lacks so much stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go after you. Get a load of that, you fuck. It's weird because you steer with the mouse at the same time as aiming with the mouse.
Target destroyed.
Let's not ram him. So I am actually having a lot of fun with Vandal Swarm. This is the first time I've actually played a multiplayer one, and I don't even know for certain that we're playing with another human. But you can sort of see this element of the game coming together. Is he behind an asteroid?
Forward proximity alert.
Zero hostile contacts
I
remaining.
just crashed there, that's no good. I also can't see how damaged I am because
Elite units en route.
you'll see in the top left
Scanning.
my I've forgotten how to speak today. My sort of HUD element that shows how damaged I am is broken. So I've got no idea what parts of me that crash just took off. It could have taken off the Bombay doors, anything. We've got a boss here. Try not to crash into any of this debris. Missiles are a pain in the balls. And I don't know what the countermeasure system is, and I don't know how to fire my own missiles. So, I'm sorry Koch, but you've got the worst wingman in Star Citizen. Okay, he's breaking off. So we will... That guy to the left we're going to have to keep an eye on. I'm coming after you, dickbag. I'm going to end up with someone on my tail, I fear. But at least he's off. Let's go defend Koch. That annoying ding sound you hear occasionally is confirmation that I've hit something. So obviously you don't hear it very often.
Forward proximity alert.
I don't know what the proximity sensor was detecting there because we're approaching the end of the simulation. That's no good.
Target destroyed.
Warning. You are approaching simulation boundary.
Okay, the boss is still up. Someone's firing at me. I'll have to try and preempt where this guy's going. Now this isn't really a fighter, it's kind of a fighter bomber, so the good thing is it's quite well armoured, and my guns do gimbal, so I don't have to point the nose exactly where I want to fire, but of course it is the future, so you would kind of expect that to be the case. It's not as fast as some of the other ships, but I bought it simply because I like the idea of those, you know, bombing runs on enemy platforms and capital ships. I always thought that was an interesting part of Chris Roberts' games. Actually, I used to really enjoy the Wing Commander series, and I always felt, you know, that asymmetrical fighting someone much bigger than you was always fun. I must say it's actually quite difficult fighting inside an asteroid belt, but that's really what I wanted to have as an experience, so it's not a complaint, it's just an observation.
Hit. Shields charging.
We're in trouble. He's trying to bring his heavy guns onto me.
Shields charging.
I don't know what I got hit with there. I'm flying really badly here because it's just enabling him to... We're constantly charging at each other like knights on horseback, and it's not a really effective way to fight. Has he been destroyed?
Elite units eliminated.
He has.
Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Is the camera working yet? No, of course not. Still buggy as all fuck, of course. Now we're a bit closer this time, that's something. Let's see what we can achieve here. Nearly smashed into him there. So that slow firing is the heavier guns, as you would expect,
Destroyed.
and then I've got something much lighter that's much more rapid firing, but it does a lot less damage per contact. Let's try that gun. Oh, Koch is on fire. Yeah, you see, it does nothing. If you look at the damage indicator on the top right, it's not.
Shields charging.
Oh, crash into that then. It looks like he did.
Remaining.
Now my wingman here, if I can get a look at him for a moment, is flying the Hornet, which is the fighter from the same manufacturer as this ship.
Bogey scanning.
Let's go after you.
Target destroyed.
So that's one out of the picture. Not the most maneuverable ship. Oh, come on. Bits of him fell off there, that's got to count. Such a terrible shot. But as I've said before, I'm not really in this game for combat. I'm in it for
Target destroyed.
trading, search and rescue,
Shields charging.
refueling, the sort of heavier industrial operations rather than anything that requires me to be a competent dogfighter. Someone's on my tail. Let's get rid of them. Where are you?
Shields charging.
It's you. I should be dead by all accounts. If that was a human player, I'd be long dead.
Shields full. Forward proximity alert. Target destroyed.
Oh, ooh.
Zero hostile contacts remaining.
That was very, very close to being a
Contact.
being another collision death.
Bogey.
You can shift power around and stuff like that. You can probably tell that I don't play this very much, and I don't really know what all the controls are. So I'm just doing what I can with what's to hand. I believe the missiles on this thing are quite powerful, but I don't know where they're mounted.
Forward
Oh
hit.
dear.
Shields charging.
Come off the power and then straight onto his tail. Hopefully get a quick kill.
Shields charging. Forward hit. Shields charging.
Now what I want to do at some point, and now's not really the time to buy anything in this game, but once the game comes out, I wouldn't mind trying to become a better fighter pilot, and I quite like the Hornet Ghost, to be honest with you. I like the stealth element, but you know it's much harder to attack something if you can't get it to register on your sensors like these ships do. You know what I mean? Like then I get an indicator of where he is, where he's manoeuvring, and I can get on his tail without any bother at all, really.
Shields down.
Oh, shields are down. Not good, not good.
Starboard hit. Shields charging.
Oh, we've got an inbound missile. That's not going to do us any
Shields
favours.
charging.
Oh, we evaded that, but only just.
Starboard hit.
And someone's still firing at us. Right, let's try and...
Forward proximity.
Let's try and get back on track.
Shields full.
Not much of a shot yourself there, Koch. Oh, it's another boss. That's why it took a while to
Elite units eliminated.
die. Right. You can see there's a bit of inertia
Forward
that
proximity
Warning.
alert.
There are multiple
carries you
hostiles
through,
involved.
and it's very easy to sort of twat yourself into an asteroid. Which is the closest? You. Okay, and we're fighting in ever
Shields charging.
we're fighting in ever tighter gaps here.
Forward proximity alert. Shields.
Oh, not good.
Shields charging. Shields charging. Forward proximity alert.
I'm just taking targets of opportunity at this point because that was some terrible shooting. Okay. Oh, hello. Hello, who's firing at me? You.
Forward proximity.
See how you like it when the tables are turned? It's not nice, is it? Being shot at. I wouldn't recommend it.
Shields charging. Port hit. Aft hit.
Now obviously, fighting against a human opponent would not work like this really. They're
Shields charging.
much more capable, much more strategic. Come on.
Shields charging. Target destroyed.
Get a load of that. Okay.
Shields full.
The shields have recovered. That is good news. I haven't bought other shields and stuff yet. You can do that with an in-game currency that you can already earn. It's called REC, and it's for renting ships and equipment to try out during this alpha phase. There is also UEC, which is the in-game true currency that you can already buy with microtransactions because you can't earn in-game just yet, and you can use those to purchase in-game bits of equipment, new engines, new power plants, new shields, and all that's starting to come online in the game. So progress is being made. I still lack the imagination necessary to view a world where this game actually comes out. It just feels as far away as ever. I mean, I know we've never looked at this together before, but Vandal Swarm has been a mode in this game for a very long time. What I'm showing you now is not a new feature. It's just a feature that I haven't covered before, because I'm not very good at it. Oh, we've got someone on our tail. Now, and it's a big if Squadron 42 does come out, I would like to cover it. It's something to bear in mind that if you think you're going to enjoy this game or purchase it when it comes out for yourself, then absolutely do not watch that playthrough. Because it's just going to ruin it for you. You know, no one wants to miss out on enjoying a story for themselves. At least I don't believe they do. And from what we've been told, the story is a very impressive one. There's a lot of cutscene action going on, so it takes on a certain interactive movie quality at some stage. But you know, you do get time between missions to wander around, interact with your crewmates, build relationships with them, and we've seen a little bit of that. Someone did demonstrate your arrival on a capital ship and being given the tour of the frigate you're serving on at an early stage of the campaign, and it looked fantastic. Now, of course, that was a controlled environment. It's a build that we do not have any sort of access to. But, you know, if CIG are to be believed, and I'm not entirely convinced that they are, that campaign comes out in Q3, Q4 of this year. So we're talking, I mean, what is it now? 2nd of April, so we're talking 6 months. I believe, if I read it correctly, I believe they were talking about October at some stage. That might have changed, so disclaimer there. But assuming they stick to that deadline, not that they've ever stuck to a single deadline that I can recall, the game's 6 months away, the single-player campaign mode at least, which obviously lacks a lot of the complicated systems and different ships that will feature in the multiplayer universe if that ever happens.
Your ACE's status has been revoked.
I knew I was going to crash. I knew it. I'm so bad at this game. I'm just truly terrible.
Stand by for reintegration.
Oh, it is a human player though.
Warning.
He's got an empty helmet, so he's like a ghost robot.
All systems.
But you know, I've got nothing against ghost robots. I'm not a ghost robotist. Right, you are the closest. At least now we know we're not damaged. Now apparently Alpha 2.4 isn't miles away, and if I understood what Disco Lando said correctly, there's an element of persistence planned to begin with that version. That, I think, will be very, very telling. If the persistence works and things go as they obviously intend, then I'll be a little bit more confident. But the rumour is, and of course, you know, it is a rumour, but it's a rumour I can believe given, you know, given my own professional experience,
Destroyed.
which isn't in gaming, of course, but it is surrounding software and IT to certain degrees. The rumour is that their version of the CryEngine has been so heavily modified to achieve this, and so many senior staff members have left, which they have, that's a matter of public note, that nobody understands how the software truly works, and they can't seem to add to it without breaking something else, and it's pushing the game further and further and further back. I do not find it difficult at all to believe that. I've worked for a considerable amount of time for an online retailer, and online retailers use a variety of different systems to, you know, a lot of off-the-shelf solutions to make a web store, for example, or different ERP systems that track where your stock is and how much of it you have, and you use
Target destroyed.
for various reports and
Elite
so on and so
units
forth.
Eliminated.
And even in my own company that I worked for until quite recently, we lost a number of IT developers, and you know, they just moved on of their own
Scanning.
volition. You know, they wanted to go and work somewhere else. That's always fine. But all the work they'd done, all the modifications they'd made to an off-the-shelf solution to meet our needs, meant anybody coming in, if they didn't have sufficient documentation, and spoilers, they didn't, they just can't work it without breaking something else. And I think you'd have to be very, very trusting to believe that that isn't what's happened to some degree at CIG. I mean, if you think of all the people who've come and gone, and it's not a small number, and people like Rob Irving, and you know, even more recent departures have all been working on elements of the game and the engine. And if you don't have watertight documentation as to what you've made, how it works, how it interacts with other elements, then it's going to take a long time
Shields full.
to figure out how to manipulate it without breaking it or breaking something else.
Starboard. Hit. Alert.
I'm being murdered.
Shields charging.
try and hide among
Forward proximity alert.
the
Proximity
asteroids till my shields come back up, which they have
alert.
to some degree.
Proximity alert.
I'm too close, I'm tracking too close to this asteroid to really swing round for this guy. I'm gonna crash if I'm not very, very careful. Okay. Oh, he's gone.
0 hostile contacts remaining.
Well, we've made it to wave 10
Shields.
in 23 minutes, that's not too bad. I'm going to bail on my wingman shortly, but in closing, I think it would be very, very trusting and almost naive to say that CIG are immune from this happening or that they've dealt with it sufficiently. I think we can all see that's not the case. I think we're all familiar with how many elements of the current build even are broken. And it's not to say progress hasn't been made, but progress would likely have been much, much quicker if they'd been able to hold on to staff. Oh, had quite a good run there. Anyway, I should justify my comments a little bit.
Target destroyed.
So why is it I can't see the game coming out? Experience. I'm almost 30, unfortunately, and I've seen games come and go, and you know, yeah, when you look at it, the great scheme of things, Star Citizen's not been in development that long. That's not really what concerns me. What concerns me is
En
the
route.
lack of meaningful progress.
Scanning. Scanning.
It's taken 3 years to get the Starfarer into the hangar. It's still not even flyable, not officially at least anyway. I've seen some people have been able to exploit a bug that spawns you in it, but it's not flyable. That's one ship out of all the ones that they've promised. And everything we were told was that all this stuff would get faster, that they'd come up with solutions to begin churning out content much quicker than they'd been able to in the past. I've seen zero evidence of that. Anyone who says they've seen evidence of that is lying, because you only need to look at what's in the game currently and how much of what's in the game currently has been in the game for a considerable amount of time.
Target destroyed.
I think I take that back a little bit. I think they have got a little bit faster at getting out the smaller ships, the fighters, and obviously ships which are going to be in Squadron 42 do get a certain level of priority. But I think there are still many things to be concerned about. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for another rant, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.